Hello there guys, this is Alex here, bringing you part 8 of What If Deku Was the Familiar of Zero. Where we last left off, Class 1A students, including Nezu, All Might, and Aizawa, with Inko of course, arrived at Izuku's mansion, shocking those that did not know. Izuku turned around to see his classmates' expression, and after that, they started to ask the never-ending questions. Izuku just sighed, and thought that it could have been less of a hassle if he just told the truth. Izuku saying, "Alright, before I answer all these questions, why not bring the bags inside, settle down, and we can discuss this somewhere comfortable." The class agreed, and they followed Izuku and Louise inside the mansion. The girls followed Louise, and the boys followed Izuku. The teachers and Inko were led by Saito and Tifa. Saito led Aizawa and Nezu, Tifa led Inko and All Might, regarding sleeping arrangements. The girls will be taking one room and sleeping on 3-on-3 twin-size beds, and two would actually be sharing a queen-size bed. The boys will be taking 3 rooms, 2 rooms of 4 and 1 room of 5, each room having 4 twin-size beds and a couch for Mineta. Nezu and Aizawa would sleep in a room having a twin-size bed, each, while All Might and Inko shared one room with a queen-size bed. After they settled with sleeping arrangements, they had a tour of the mansion, and everybody noticed a big portrait of Izuku and Louise on the day they got married. Inko looked at it as she wished she could be there, and the girls loved Louise's dress, and they noticed the cape Izuku had was similar to his hero costume. After they they gathered outside in the backyard, while Siesta prepared tea for everybody. Before Izuku could explain the situation, Saito called Izuku to the front door. Excusing himself from the group, he went to see what was going on, only to see Mr. Colbert with Kirsche, Momoransi, Gish, bringing over the Zero Fighter that Izuku previously lost during the war with Albion. Izuku was happy to see them, and he told them that they could bring it to the back, and while walking, Izuku told them that there were guests from his world, and not to be alarmed by the appearance of some of them, and not to mind the differences. While Kirishima was asking about the long portion of the ground being totally flat, and other students asking what is taking Izuku so long, they see him talking with a man holding a staff with 3 other people. Izuku saying, "Uraraka-san, could you come over here for a moment? I needed to use your quirk to bring something. It's heavy and broken, so could you help?" Uraraka was confused, but went to help out. She was shocked to see a plane. She used her quirk to bring the plane to the garage, while the rest of them were shocked, and once back, Izuku introduced them, the 4 people to the group. Aoyama and Gish simultaneously saying, "Who's he? Is he supposed to be the copy of me?" Izuku just facepalmed and pointing out that they looked like twins, with a lot of them just laughing. Nezu and Mr. Colbert went inside and discussed, while Izuku started to answer the questions. Izuku saying, "Yayorozu-san, earlier you asked on how time works differently. To be honest, I'm not sure myself. Before you guys freak out, this is actually another world entirely. We're in a continent called Hakaginia, and we're in my territory, the Ornarius. Just think it as medieval times with fantasy settings. But the truth is, I was away for more than 6 months, or rather, I actually spent the past year here. So I'm guessing that 2 weeks there is 1 month here." Momo saying, "You said your territory, according to medieval times. Does that mean?" Izuku saying, "Yes, Momo, I am the lord of the Ornarius." Everybody was shocked, as Momo would say, "So I'm guessing you have a title, am I correct?" Izuku saying, "Yeah." Louise would chime in, saying, "Of course he does. He's got 3, and his full name is Viscount Izuku Chevalier de Midoriya des Ornarius, and he's a 3rd-ranking noble, so be careful on what you might say when important people are here." Izuku saying, "Louise, there was no need to scare them like that. Regardless, she's right, but I don't think that there will be any problems, though." Everybody was just surprised, and Kirishima decides to break the tension, saying, "Hey Izuku, what kind of plane is that, and can you pilot that thing?" Izuku saying, "That is a Zero Fighter from World War II, And yes, since it is a weapon, so I can wield it with no problems whatsoever. Kirishima saying, "Yo, Izuku, do you think you can let us use it when it's already fixed? And can I go first?" Kaminari saying, "Yeah, dude, that would be cool. Have everyone have a go at it. I want to go second." Izuku would explain to everyone that it would be a terrible idea, since he only knows how to pilot it because of his abilities as Gandalf. The guys in Class 1A feel a little disappointed that they won't be able to fly the Zero Fighter. Izuku gathers everyone from Class 1A. Izuku saying, "Well, your training is going to commence by tomorrow with a special guest. The Queen of Jusane's captain will assist us with an instructor, and Her Majesty Queen Henrietta will come to greet us in person. After I told her my many stories from our world, she would actually like to get to know you more and make some negotiations." Everyone would be in awe of having the land's queen to visit. Momo visibly confused. "Midoriya-san, you said the queen will come here for negotiations. What do you mean by that?" Izuku saying, "Well, Principal Nezu wanted to negotiate things with Queen Henrietta herself. To be honest, I'm not sure what it's about. Knowing Principal Nezu, he might have something big in mind." Class 1A would be confused as they would be talking in the background. Izuku would call out for Momoratsu, as he'd say, "Momoratsu, do you mind coming with me for a second?" Momoratsu nodded, making Luis a bit jealous, and the girls from Class 1A noticed. But a dragon flying above distracted the group, making them jump in a battle stance in surprise to see a dragon. Luis saying, "Don't bother with it, it's just an old friend." Once it landed, a blonde-haired boy, accompanied by a man with long blonde hair, confusing Class 1A. Izuku arrived soon after. Izuku saying, "Giulio, Pope Vittorio, what are you guys doing here? And how did you know that we were back?" Class 1A were shocked, and the girls were attracted to the blonde young man. As the Pope Vittorio would say, "It has been a while, hasn't it?" Giulio saying, "We came here as soon as we got word." Izuku saying, "But how?" Giulio saying, "Henrietta, earlier today." Izuku saying, "I should have known. Anyways, you came at the right time. I need to get a spirit here for Momoransi, and since we still have the ring, we might as well return it, while Luis will take care of our guest." Giulio nodded, and Luis finally understood what Izuku was doing, and soon after, Izuku, Momoransi, and Giulia departed. Luis introduces Pope Vittorio. Mineta is flirting with Kirsche, but she just plays along. Kirsche has found a personal slave, and the group introduces themselves. And the group started to ask why would Izuku know important people. Pope Vittorio tells the group that what had transpired the past year. From rumors of decimating an army of 80,000 men single-handedly and witnessing him taking down a tyrant king, invading his country, and slaying a mountain-sized ancient dragon, and saving thousands of lives. Everybody was shocked. Bakugo saying, "I don't believe you. How could a weakling like Deku pull all of this off?" As Pope Vittorio would say, "You must be this childhood friend that Giulio mentioned, and according to what Izuku told him, you feel threatened by his presence, so you just make fun of him and belittle him. What a shame. You must really be to your family." Bakugo just bit his tongue, not to say anything out of line, and the Pope talked with Inko, All Might, and the teachers. Hours later, Izuku returned with Giulio, and they returned with the Izuku and Momoransi, and everyone were asking what took them so long. Izuku saying, "Don't worry, training would start tomorrow morning. I thought I told you that." And the class was asking more and more questions regarding on his deeds here, even if Pope Vittorio was telling the truth. Izuku confirmed everything, although he didn't really want to. And later, Giulio and Vittorio left, and Mr. Colbert and Class 1A went to the natural hot springs that wasn't far from the mansion and went to bed. During the night, Izuku brings All Might aside and gives him 2 vials containing potions. All Might saying, "What are these, young Izuku?" Izuku saying, "All Might, these are potions. One will actually regenerate your internal organs and bring your body back to 98%, so there won't be any time limit for you. And the other makes sure that you can keep your limited strength, so you would be as strong as you were in your prime." All Might saying, "Thank you, boy. I really appreciate it." I never knew I could get rid of this nasty scar. As All Might would be tearing up. Izuku saying, it would only heal you and regenerate your internal organs. Scars can't be really healed, but it won't be as nasty as it is now. All Might saying, thank you anyways. Izuku saying, don't thank me, you should really thank Momoransi. She was the one that made him. All Might saying, alright, you got that, kid. The next day, early in the morning, Izuku and Louise woke up. Class 1A students, they started their routine. Light workout, breakfast, heavier workout, lunch. After lunch, Class 1A was enjoying themselves, either relaxing or training, and they see a carriage arrived, and Agnes was driving it. Agnes hopped off and opened the door of the carriage, revealing Queen Henrietta. Izuku and Louise were kneeling before the Queen. The Queen told them to raise their hands, and as soon as they did, she hugged them both. Surprising Class 1A, Izuku introduces their classmates, then Nezu comes out from the mansion and greeting the Queen himself. As he'd introduce himself, Henrietta was surprised to see Nezu's form and called him cute, which Nezu was stuttering about a bit because nobody really called him cute before. And they went inside to discuss some matters, while Agnes assisted Class 1A. Izuku saying, alright, listen up, this is Agnes. She would assist us with her knowledge on hand-to-hand combat and help you to improve if you would ever lose or unable to use your quirks. And if you'd like, you can actually learn how to use sword, lances, knives. She were more than happy to help out. She's very skilled and I wouldn't underestimate her. I lost her a few times myself while I had the advantage of having quirks, so yes, you'll have your asses handed to you. Everybody was shocked, and Izuku was walking away. As Bakugo would say, Izuku, where do you think you're going? Izuku saying, Kachan, I really need to bring my mother to see Luis's parents. I'm sure Aizawa-sensei could, join in the fun. Izuku would walk inside the mansion to see Queen Henrietta and Inko having a conversation, which apparently was about Izuku, the things he did when he was young, and his achievements. Izuku told his mother that they're going to see Luis's parents. Inko was very nervous to meet her fellow-in-laws. Luis popped out from behind Izuku, reassuring her and consequently give her confidence. And All Might joins them as well. Luis opened a portal to her parents' house, and once they knock on the door, her parents and sisters greeted them. Eleanor saying, as she introduced herself, and she was noticing everything that she could from a distance. As her per usual self, Katleya introduced herself and greeted them with a welcoming smile. Luis's parents are very pleased to finally meet Izuku's parents, and they led them to a living room where they could discuss. They basically say that how it is wonderful to actually meet Inko and asking All Might if he's Izuku's father. And All Might and Inko would be embarrassing Izuku, while Luis's parents would embarrass Luis, and Eleanor would also chime in at the chance to embarrass her chibi Luis. And Luis's parents are very curious about things in their world, and what is Luis doing, which Inko shows some pictures of Luis's cooking Izuku's favorite dish. After a long talk, Luis, Izuku, Inko, and All Might would head back to their mansion, seeing everybody just exhausted on the ground. Izuku saying, Agnes, did you put them through hell? Agnes saying, I assumed that they were ready for it, but I'm terribly disappointed in them. Izuku saying, I know, but do you think they have what it takes? Agnes saying, let's see. Ojiro was very good, but he lacks stamina. Todoroki, he is relying on his ice magic, and it seems that he also has fire magic as well. Bakugo, he's too emotional. Yayurosu? Oh, that was a mouthful. She's very smart, and her magic of creating things is quite useful in battle. That Sato guy, the Ida boy, the redhead, and his twin, the blonde and bird face, have a lot of potential, but lack in few areas. But it can be fixed. Degramon's twin, Acid Girl, Koda, Shoji, Shiro, Jiro, and Aosui, they got unique talents, and they are perfect in few scenarios, and again, they have a lot of potential. That Uraraka girl, she does have some use, but She really needs to learn combat, otherwise she would have to rely on others. She can lift a lot of things, but she ends up just vomiting and thus being a liability on the battlefield. And the perv. Izuku saying, oh, great, he made himself known already. Agnes saying, yeah, he did. He's dragging down the rest of them. He has no potential whatsoever. A big liability on the battlefield. Short stature doesn't really help, unless you have to go through small places. Those balls on his head are good, but they are useful only for traps, so for him, you're gonna need a miracle. Class 1A was confused on the fact of Agnes calling their quirks magic, and Izuku explains. Aizawa saying, indeed, she's on the mark with that. All Might saying, hey Izuku, do you want to go and show them how much they have to improve? Izuku saying, All Might, is that a challenge? As All Might would be smiling. You bet it is. Izuku smiling back. Then let's show them. Izuku and All Might powered up one for all, and they started to spar, and it kept on going and going until Izuku got distracted and got sent to the ground, making a crater. Everybody was surprised on their sparring session, and All Might went up to Izuku. All Might saying, were you holding back against me, kid? Izuku saying, no, I just got distracted. All Might saying, by what? Izuku saying, can't you see the damage we're caused already? All Might looks around. Oh dear, I guess we got carried away. As Agnes would say, you think so? Izuku saying, so how did we do? Agnes saying, well, I can see that your father's just overwhelming you with brute strength, with no technique behind it. You, on the other hand, we're doing good, but you slipped at the end. Remember what I taught you. Class 1A, including Luis, Nezu, Inko, and Henrietta, were shocked to the display of power, and Class 1A was even more shocked on the fact that Agnes called All Might Izuku's father. Izuku saying, father, no, you got it all wrong. He's my teacher, not my father. All Might just laughing in the background. Agnes saying, oh, I thought that you two were father and son since you kind of gave out that vibe. Izuku and All Might look at each other and started to laugh. Time skip to the end of the training camp. During this time skip, everyone in Class 1A improved immensely during their time within the Zero no Tsukaima world, and Izuku gave his thought on Todoroki using his fire side and convinces them to use it. They started to pack up their things and return to the My Hero verse. Once there, Principal Nezu told them that the sports festival, and that since they've actually worked out so much, they can actually take some time until the festival, just relaxing and taking it easy. We know what Mineta will do. On the day of the UA Sports Festival, Class 1A got ready in the waiting room. Todoroki and Bakugo, having a newfound respect for Izuku, they would both challenge Izuku for top place. Izuku smiles and accepts it. Then Luis would ask, Luis saying, hey Izu, where's Dolph? Izuku saying, oh, he's with Aizawa-sensei. Luis saying, why isn't Dolph supposed to be with you? Izuku saying, you see, during the sports festival, nobody can use items unless it's part of their quirks, but I must say, he has found a perfect job for the meantime. Luis in Class 1A simultaneously saying, where? President Mike would be announcing, well, welcome to the sports festivals, ladies and gentlemen. And with me, I have Mr. Aizawa, aka Eraserhead. Aizawa saying, hey. President Mike saying, and we will also have a special guest, an unusual guest. From that, we have Delph Flinger, the talking sword. A round of applause for Delph. Delph saying, glad to be here, President Man. At least I got to enjoy some action. President Mike saying, okay, Delph, tell us about yourself. And who do you think you're going to win? Who's going to win the sports festival? Delph saying, President Man, there isn't much to say about me. What you see is what you get. And what about who's going to win? I would have to say my partner. The real question is, how much will it take him to do so? President Mike saying, Delph, who's your partner? Aizawa saying, Izuku Midoriya. Delph saying, thanks, Lazy Man. And yes, he's my partner. I think only Mighty Man can stand up to him. President Mike saying, whoa, you hear that, folks? Delph says the only All Might, the #1 hero, can take him on. Well, we just got to wait and see who will win. At the same time, midnight, calls Izuku to make a speech, a freshman representative, and also beating All Might's record. Izuku saying, "Let's give it our all, and plus ultra." And to be continued. So guys, I hope the audio sounds better. I've been testing so many things. I always think it's a mic, but it's the applications. The applications I use are shit. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to admit it. But in that case, I did sure. If you see that there was an edit because I didn't want to edit the first part. So I cut some parts of the audio. In regards to that, someone actually recommended me a good application. Personally, I think his ideas are interesting. He's a very small YouTuber. Gratify What Ifs. I might put a link on my description. Thank you for recommending me this app, Audiolab. Actually, it's pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think it was much. Suppresses a lot of the echoing. But in regards to that, guys, next part, Reincarnation of Link. Electromaster has to wait a little since I only got 1,000 words done. I know. I wanted to script it like Ed does, because it seems apparently you guys like that. Because I know I can do it. It's just that the dialogue, man. I lose myself in the dialogue. The sauce, man. But in regards to that, I also hope you like my present mic imitation. I don't know why. I sound very customer service because I work in customer service. So that's basically me when I talk to customers. So yeah, I could be like that, but I prefer not to. It's just that it sounds so fucking fake. It's just so fake. But in regards to that, in this case, I'll be posting some artwork. I hope you guys do like it. I know that a lot of you don't follow me for my art because it's trash. But in this case, I'll line up. In this case, I'll announce it. And I'll put it in the community tabs. In regards to next part is Reincarnation of Link. Second would be Electromaster if I don't get the new What If. Again, this is not my What If. This is for Ed. I only helped him out, just making sure that it makes sense, because some of his stuff didn't make sense at the beginning for me, but that was me being a total Nancy, negative Nancy. But in this, a negative Nancy. But yeah, regardless, guys. Yeah, I hope you like the video. Put a thumbs up, subscribe, and yeah, have a good night or